Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again, TheModenstersOfGaming. I'm KaijuK with my best artwork so far. No, I'm just kidding, I'm horrible at it. I bring you back to my continuing escapades through the land of Fakemon from fan-made games. Now, in our last episode, we brought in some ghastly ghosts, but this time we're going to head out to greener pastures with the top 10 Grass-type Fakemon. Grass types are my second favorite type in the entire game. The only type that I find is better than grass types, in my own personal opinion, are water, simply because of what you can do with them. Grass types are a mixed bag, but they're usually like an animal that's being hybridized with plants, where water types are just usually elegant, beautiful. There are some exceptions, like, you know, Gyarados and Phoebus, but we're not going to get into that right now. So, grass types have weaknesses to fire, bug, and flying types usually. And of course that makes a lot of sense. Fire burns plants, bugs eat plants, and birds eat plants as well. So as far as typing goes, it actually makes a lot of sense compared to a lot of the other typings. With that said, let's start this off with a shot from Pokemon Spectrum. I bring you Quagsire. Quagsire is the coconut Pokemon. He is a grass dark type, and his special ability is Overgrow. His Pokedex entry reads, it normally lives in forests, however it has been known to raid towns and farms, leading gangs of Kowomnut to steal milk. Now, I'd like to call this guy the bowling ball Pokemon, because he looks like he's got like a bowling ball on the top of his head. But it's also the shape of a standard coconut, so I mean, you know, either way. Statistically, this guy is actually a very bulky Pokemon, possessing some high HP, some great defense and special defense, and pretty average stats all around after that. However, his big problem is his number of weaknesses. As you can see, he has a 4x weakness to bug types, and a 2x weakness to fighting, flying, poison, fire, ice, and fairy. So, there's 7 freaking Pokemon types that are just going to bash him in the face. No wonder he has all that extra HP and defense. His move pool isn't too bad, though. I mean, he does gain access to a lot of different moves. And due to how his stats are, you can make him a special attacker, or you can make him a physical attacker. With access to moves like Knockoff, Seed Bomb, Solar Beam, Stone Edge. He can cover a lot of ground, and he can also take out a few of his weaknesses with no problem. Now, unfortunately, once again, since Pokemon Spectrum didn't get as far as we all hope it will, and we hope it will get further, he doesn't have much in the way of breeding or TMHMs. His original form is Koala, then he becomes Kowomnut, and then he becomes Kowomnut. And Kowomnut is based off a koala and a wombat with a coconut characteristic. It is inspired by Bankcho. And Kowomnut is a combination of koala, wombat, and coconut. Now, with all these weaknesses, you might try to shy away from this guy, but let me tell you something. For a starter Pokemon, he can really take some damage. I like to teach him Crunch and Seed Bomb for stab bonus coverage, Stone Edge for that extra punch out of nowhere, Leech Seed to, of course, give him some more health after he's taking all these blows, Leftovers as a held item. His design is pretty cool. I mean, he's a what do you want to say? He's a coconut wombat koala. His coloration is kind of drab, but I guess you'd think it's probably like for like hiding out in the forest, so you wouldn't see him as well. And like I said, you know, statistically, you could play him as a special attacker, a special attacker, a special wall, physical attacker, or a physical wall. Just got to trade out some points here and there. Next on the list, we're going to bring up the Delta of this group. I don't think we're going to have a Delta in every group, but we have a Delta in this group too. This is Delta Quagsire, and oh my god, just look at how cool he looks. He has so much running on him right now. He's a grass fire type. He's got a pumpkin for a head with little frills coming out of the side of it, a little fire on top of it. He's got little hands carrying a little baggie, and his mouth, and he's got another mouth on his stomach that's just like, feed me, Seymour, and 2 little feet. He's just like, he's got such a cute design. I just love it. His abilities are Pickpocket, Flash Fire, and Harvest. And his Pokedex entry reads, despite its appearance, this Delta species is kind to every Pokemon it meets. It glows with Halloween spirit. That's just awesome. So you got a Pokemon that's just like, hey, how you doing? I'll be a friend. Now, stat-wise, he's kind of along the lines of the actual Quagsire, just a little different there. He's kind of slow. He's got average special attack and special defense. He's got really good attack and defense. He's got some pretty good HP. He's got 3 weaknesses. Those are Flying, Poison, and Rock type. And his move pool, while it is a little bit on the, how should I put it, the shallow side, it's not too bad. He does gain access to some pretty cool moves. He gains access to Leech Seed, Stockpile, Bullet Seed, which is pretty cool, especially if you use it with a King's Rock, I believe it is. Or maybe it's a... Yeah, or a Sharp Club. I can't remember which the combo is. He also learns Trick or Treat, which is kind of odd, but I guess you could use Trick or Treat to turn him into Ghost types and hit him with Thief. He gains access to Mystical Fire, Heat Crash, and Seed Bomb as well. And his, once again, since he's a Delta type, he doesn't gain any kind of breeding capabilities. Now, he starts off as Delta Hooper, and then becomes Delta Quagsire. There's his regular form, and then his shiny form is pink-headed, black-bodied, which is kind of weird. Now, Insurgence brings out a lot of cool Delta Pokemon, and this is no exception. I like to give him Harvest, and I like to teach him Seed Bomb and Mystical Fire for stab coverage, Leech Seed so you can give some happiness to your allies, a Sunny Day so you can not only boost Mystic Fire special ability, but also activate Harvest constantly, and then hand him a Citrus Berry. This means he will constantly get Citrus Berries at the end of every turn as long as Sunny Day stays up and his health drops. This can make him extremely annoying, especially combined with Leech Seed. He's just such a happy-looking Pokemon, and design-wise, I am amazed at some of the designs that came from Pokemon Insurgents. I'm not afraid to admit it. I am amazed, and this is just one of them. Okay, coming up next is a Pokemon that needs a little bit more love and a bit of Pokemon design. I give you Peludillar, the Hairy Bug Pokemon. Now, Peludillar is a Pokemon from, as you can see, Pokemon Ethereal Gates, so of course, as you know, it's not exactly up to par, but we can fix that. Peludillar typically roam the forest carefree. There's not a single predator in its natural habitat that can dent its tough, furry exterior. Now, I want you folks to remember this Pokedex entry, because this is going to get into my conversation we're going to have in a little bit. His ability is Fur Coat, which, if you don't know, it reduces physical damage taken by this Pokemon by 50%, which is pretty bad. Now, stat-wise, now you see where the main issue with this guy is. This is a 3rd level evolution with only a 390 in stats. As you can see, he's got something in his attack, and for a Pokemon that's, near indestructible to any predators in its habitat, it doesn't seem to do much in its defenses and health. How I would help this Pokemon out? I would probably drop his speed a little. Probably drop his attack to a 65, so his special attack and its regular attack were similar. Then I would give it a giant boost to its defense, a much larger boost to its special defense, and a big boost to health, just to make it seem like it's actually a Pokemon that's going to stay out there and fight. Weakness-wise, it's also in some trouble here. It's got Poison, Rock, Bug, and Ice as 2 times weaknesses, but then it has Flying and Fire as 4x weaknesses, so he's in a bit of trouble when it comes to those Pokemon. His move pool isn't bad. He gains access to a lot of really good moves. He gains up to Mega Drain. I think he should learn up to Giga Drain, but he learns up to Mega Drain. He gains access to U-Turn, Bug Buzz, and Quiver Dance. And he has all the powders, too. Stun Spore, Poison Powder, and Sleep Powder. He starts off as this little thing called Verdava, then becomes Hojookun, and then finally Peludillar. And his shiny's a pretty cool-looking one, too. It's got the nice purplish hue to it, which makes it really a standout. Under trivia, it says that in the 1.0 version of Pokemon Ethereal Gates demo, Peludillar's sprite was clipped. And then it says Peludillar's evolution level was changed since the initial demo release, where the level decreases to 11 rather than 13. So it originally took you to level 13 to get this guy. Now, since there's not a lot to work with, we're just going to start with what he's got. I would teach him Mega Drain, Bug Buzz for stab coverage and healing, Sleep Powder to knock his opponents down, and Quiver Dance to hold them there while he boosts himself. What I would like to do with him is maybe add some more moves to his list that would make him seem like he's a survivable Pokemon. Moves like Leech Seed, Spore, Iron Defense, Acid Armor, maybe even Cosmic Power. I mean, he looks like a wise old Pokemon. Maybe give him just a little bit more. Maybe give him Cotton Guard to give him that sudden boost to his defense that nobody's expecting. And maybe, just maybe, something to help him take care of some of those flying-type fire types. Maybe a rock throw or something like that. I really like his design, and for the time that you can play the game, he was really useful to me. Unless, of course, you're fighting anything he was weak against, in which case he died rather quickly. Coming next is another one. This one's from Pokemon Solar Light and Lunar Dark, and this is Shrublade. I hope I'm saying that right. It's either Shrublade or Shrublade. Shrublade's fine. He's the Grass Blade Pokemon, and his special abilities are Super Luck, Chlorophyll, or Infiltrator. His Pokedex entry reads, Shrublade can cut down trees with their leaf blades. They use these trees to build large shelters for other Pokemon during storms. So once again, a very nice Pokemon. Grass types tend to have that. Now, as far as its stats go, this guy is just meant for just getting up in somebody's face and hurting them. Defense as a special defense are kind of on the low side, a little low on the health. Okay special attack, but his speed and physical attack are immense. His weaknesses, however, are not too immense. He's got a 2x weakness to fighting, which could be annoying, but it's that 4x weakness to fire types that really hurts him. He actually doesn't have any real way of taking them down. I mean, I guess you could teach him like one of his ground type moves, but you really wouldn't want to do that. As far as moves go, he learns moves like Metal Claw, he learns Bullet Punch, he learns Needle Arm, Iron Head, Leaf Blade, Metal Burst, and Sacred Sword, which is a real throwout. Like, you wouldn't expect him to be able to do that, but Sacred Sword, 90 damage fighting a type move, that's worth it. Going down further, we have access to moves like Air Cutter, Knockoff, Seed Bomb, Superpower, Synthesis, of course, and Vacuum Wave in case you want another version of Bullet Punch. And he starts off as Shrubzor and becomes Shrublade. His name is the combination of the word shrub and the word blade. Now, due to his high attack speed and high attack, you want this Pokemon to basically be the I'm going to end most Pokemon's lives with a single strike kind of Pokemon. So I teach him Super Luck, give him access to Leaf Blade and Iron Head for stab coverage, Sacred Blade for that surprise hit, Sword Dance to boost its already considerable attack even higher, and a Shell Bell just to give it that extra bit of drainage so he stays alive just a little bit longer. Unless, of course, he's hit by a fire type, in which case he's almost guaranteed to be a one-hit. His design is really cool. It kind of reminds me almost of, I guess I'd like to say like a jester with like blades in his hand or something. I mean, it's a really cool look. Moving on next, we're going to get into probably my favorite as far as cute Pokemon go in this list. This is, oh, I'm all the way at the bottom. This is Forusk. Look at that face. He's got a big old smile. His eyes are closed. He's got this big happy feel to him. He's a pure grass type. He is the Wood Trunk Pokemon, and his special abilities are Anger Point and Sunbathe. Now, if you forget Sunbathe, Sunbathe is basically Water Dish for Sunny Day. His Pokedex entry reads, while normally peaceful when soaking up sunlight, Forusk is quick to anger if approached. It swings its hammer-like trunk with enough force to level houses. So he's cute, but don't go up and pet him. He's also pretty tall, over 7 foot tall and weighing over 324 pounds. So he's a big guy. Statistically, he's also pretty buff. He's got good health, he's got great attack, he's got even better defense. He's got pretty good special defense, with only special attack and speed being his failing copies. He also has a bunch of weaknesses. Those weaknesses are to Flying, Poison, Bug, Fire, and Ice. They're all 2x weaknesses, but he usually has enough bulk to take the hits. Move-wise, of course, he learns Rage, which is an underutilized move. Razor Leaf, Ingrain, Leaf Shield, Wood Hammer, Leaf Storm, Synthesis, and Heavy Slam. He's a big boy, so Heavy Slam could be quite beneficiary to him. His Move Tutor, on the other hand, teaches him moves like Ancient Power. He can learn Outrage, which could be pretty powerful, especially with his bulk. Superpower, Zen Headbutt. He can also learn by breeding Fissure and Magnitude, and by prior evolution, he can learn Power Whip. His NFL form, of course, being Alpint, this cute little conifer holder here. His trivia states that Alpint and Forusk spent an unusual long time being developed. They were some of the last Pokemon with their designs finalized. Several distinct different designs were proposed during this time. Alpint and Forusk were the last Pokemon to be named. Due to spending so much time without official names, the various proposed designs for Forusk were given their own fan names, including Coco Fant, the coconut elephant, Tiki Fant, the tribal elephant, Biolef Fant, inspired by the plant Kaiju Biolante, and Tree Trunks, the tree trunk elephant, named after the Adventure Time character of the same name. Forusk is based on an elephant and a log, and its name is a combination of forest and tusk. Now this guy's a big, happy, heavy hitter, and there's plenty of ways to help him. You could give him Sunny Day and let Sunbathe work for him, and then throw a leftover on that to make him even harder to kill. But I like to go for his personal move. Now he has his own personal move right here at the top of the screen. This is Thick Log, and it raises the attack of Forusk by 50%. Now if you remember correctly, Forusk's attack is already 110. So 165 attack, that doesn't bode well for whoever's sitting in front of you. I like to give him Anger Point. That way he gets even more boosted attack. And give him Power Whip for stab coverage. You could give him Wood Hammer to kind of make the deal, but Power Whip's much stronger. Give him Earthquake to cover some of his weaknesses. Rock Slide to cover some more. Synthesis for that extra healing that nobody's expecting. And of course the Thick Log held item, so he can literally just beat the tar out of his opponents. Once again, I think I like designs like this where it's just like, he's simple, he's happy, he's cute, but on the other hand, you can see how dangerous he would be, how ferocious he would be. That being said, let's get on to the coolest looking Pokemon in this list. This is Pangolash, the Steel Plate Pokemon. Pangolash is a steel grass type with the abilities Sand Force and Iron Barbs. His Pokedex entry reads, the plates on Pangolash's back not only harden to be highly durable, but are also developed sharp edges capable of shredding nearly anything to pieces. So this guy's a walking Ginsu knife, basically. And his stats do show that. Now, I think he could use more boosted stats, but he does have good stats all around. Average speed and special attack, good HP attack and special defense, and great defense. Add the fact that he's only got 2 weaknesses, 1 to fighting and 1 to fire, and he's a really, really sturdy Pokemon. He also gains access to a lot of moves. For instance, he gains access to moves like Spikes, Iron Defense, he can learn Rapid Spin, Leaf Shield, Steamroller, Mimic, Leaf Blade, Iron Tail. I mean, he has a big bulk amount of moves. And from prior evolution, you can learn moves like Rock Polish and Rock Throw and even Stone Edge. And there's his first form right there, Delio Weed, and then his final form. And it says in trivia, Delio Weed, Flask, and Vectil lines were the last evolutionary lines to be confirmed. Delio Weed's line was the last evolutionary line not to have any sprites. The final design for Delio Weed was made by a different artist that designed the design of Pangolash. What the heck? Oh, sorry. The final design for Delio Weed, sorry, wow, was made by a different artist than the design for Pangolash. Both artists also created designs for other Pokemon in this evolutionary line, which lost the other artist's design. Pangolash is originally not related to Delio Weed and was originally not a grass type. Ooh, I didn't know about that. And Delio Weed's line was the only Pokemon Sage Pokemon that made it past concept stage that was considered to be cold. Pangolash was based on a pangolin whose plates are made of hardened steel. And Pangolash's name is a combination of Pangolin and Slash. So there's a lot of ways you can run this Pokemon. How I would do it is I would give it the Iron Barbs ability and a Rocky Helmet. Everyone knows that combo really hurts. I would give him Leaf Blade and Shield Bash. Now if you forget Shield Bash is a steel type move that deals damage based on your defense instead of your attack. I would also give it Leaf Shield, which will block attack and weaken my opponent's attacks. Leech Seed for more health. I would make him basically a stall-happy Pokemon that could still deal some damage. Your opponent would just be sitting there twiddling their thumbs trying to figure out how to get past him, unless, of course, they brought out a Fire type. So, from Pokemon Sage, we're going to jump over to Pokemon Uranium. For, if you guys have seen my walkthrough, you'll know that this is the evolved form of Orichinks. This is Metalynx, the armored Pokemon. And it is another Grass Steel type. Man, I got a lot of Grass Steel types in here. With access to Battle Armor, Overgrow, and its Mega ability Heat Proof, so you know we're going to Mega Evolve this guy. Metalynx stalk their prey in packs. Their brutally sharp tail blades are their main weapon. So this guy is pretty cool. I love the design and the fact that he looks like a cyborg. That's what he looks like. I mean, he's got one metal ear, he's got two metal legs and a metal tail. I mean, the rest of him seems biological. I mean, that's pretty cool. Statistically, he's pretty strong, too, with special attack and speed being about average, but having great special defense, great defense, attack, and even good HP. Now, when he Mega Evolves, things change a little. He gains a gigantic boost, a 45-point boost to his attack. He also gains a 45-point boost to his defense, a 10-point boost to his special defense as well. So he becomes far hardier and far more difficult to kill. Packing only 2 weaknesses, one to fighting and one to fire, fire being a 4X. He's pretty potent and pretty capable of staying on his own feet. As far as moves go, he does gain access to a lot of really powerful ones, and some of my favorites. Like I said, you've seen Leech Seed on almost every one of these Pokemon so far. Leaf Blade, Iron Tail, even Night Slash, Sword Dance. So he's going to stand out. Prior evolutions, he can learn things like Mega Drain and Synthesis if you want. Via breeding, you can even teach him Giga Drain and Iron Head, which are two really potent moves. And by Move Tutor, you can teach him Frenzy Plant and Poison Fang, which are really surprising. Now, right here is Orchinx, Metalynx, and Mega Metalynx with those nice long blades coming off of it. Ooh, even its teeth are blades now. I actually enjoy its shiny form with that purple coloring on it. It seems like a lilac field rather than just a grass field. Of course, there's his Mega Evolution right there, still looking regal and badass. Metalynx is the only starter Pokemon that does not gain Weather Summoning ability upon Mega Evolving. So the other two Mega Evolutions obviously learn Drought and Drizzle. Metalynx is based on a lynx. The flowers on its fur resemble spots of a jaguar or a leopard, and its name is a combination of Metalynx, or a combination of metal and lynx. Now this is, these are some things. This is by Involuntary-Twitch. He drew an older Theo, which is your rival in the game at age 16, and a Metalynx. There's Metalynx animated, and then down here there's an early sprite of Metalynx, which kind of looks like he's got spikes coming out of his back and everything. Now, Metalynx is my favorite Pokemon from Pokemon Uranium, period. He's an awesome starter. And yeah, he only has 2 evolutions, and the one evolution can't be reached till level 28. But you know what? From the beginning of the game, that Steel typing and that Grass typing will keep you alive for a good portion of it. You always get the one with Battle Armor, so stick with that, and then of course get Heat Proof when you Mega Evolve to take care of his weakness, his 4X weakness to a 2X weakness where it's Fire, and to make Ice 0.5 times weak to. I'm pretty sure I said that right. Move pool wise, I like to teach a Meteor Mash and Leaf Blade for stab coverage, Leech Seed to drain my opponent, Synthesis to keep myself alive. It's a pretty simple way of playing him, but he's just so cool, and he really doesn't need much more to keep himself alive. He hits hard, he moves hard, he is hard. I guess that just sounded dirty. But if you got to choose a Pokemon, choose this one. Actually, all 3 of them are good starters, but this is just the one I prefer. Next up, Alright, I know what you're saying, Pokemon Switch, I know what you're saying. It's another Hummingbird Pokemon. And you're right, it is. I love Hummingbird Pokemon. That's not why I have them on this list. Okay, it's a part of why I have them on this list. This is Floressum. It's a grass flying type, it's the Hummingbird Pokemon. Its ability is Overgrow, and its Pokédex entry reads, Floressum can synthesize energy with its symbiotic flower. By rapidly flapping its wings, it can create gusts of wind comparable to a tropical storm. So, I mean, he's pretty cool. Statistically, he's also pretty badass. He's got some good stats. Health, attack, and defense are all in a nice high area. Special defense being a little bit higher than that. Good special attack, and great speed. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Unfortunately, when it goes to weaknesses, he's got a 4X weakness to ice, which can be devastating to this poor guy. He's also weak to the usual standards: flying, poison, rock, and fire. Now, move list, he gains access to some very powerful moves. One of them being Quiver Dance. He also gains access to Leaf Tornado if you want. Hurricane, which is another good move. He gets Giga Drain in case you want to get that kind of healing capability. From Move Tutor, you can learn Bounce, Frenzy Plant. You can even learn Synthesis. You can learn Silver Wind. Through the breeding, he can learn Growth and Leech Seed. He can learn Roost, which is a really good one. And through his prior evolutions, he gains access to moves like Drill Peck and Leaf Shield. These are his prior evolutions. This is his original Foilant, then Floressum, and then finally Floressum. Its design origin is based on the hummingbird. Its tail is a flower not unlike those hummingbirds feed on, despite the game-inspired settings. Oh, I'm gonna just butcher the crud out of this one. Hutzilla Pachitl Shitli? I am sorry. An Aztec deity of war was not an inspiration. Alright, and his name is a combination of Flores and possibly the corruption of Blossom. And of course, that's what he looks like front and back when he's actually in the battlefield. Now, what I do with this guy is, of course, you got to teach him Overgrow. I would give him Wind Shear and Giga Drain. Now, Wind Shear is a really nifty move. Wind Shear is a base attack 45 move that deals more damage if you're faster than your opponent. In fact, it deals double. This bonus is negated by priority attacks, obviously, but if you hit your opponent first, instead of being 45 damage, it's 90, making it very powerful. It's also a special attack, which, if you remember, Floressum specializes in. I would give it Wind Shear and Giga Drain to keep itself alive, Leech Seed to also keep it alive, Quiver Dance to boost its already good stats even higher, and a Big Root to keep it even more alive. I would try to make this Pokemon a very annoying, long-standing Pokemon. You would definitely have to use weaknesses to get rid of them, or you would definitely have to hit harder than anything you could imagine. Or just get lucky and hit him with a critical. You never know. Next up is another Pokemon from Pokemon Uranium, and another cool-looking Pokemon. This is Gellin, the Amoeba Pokemon. His Pokedex entry reads, the energy that Gellin generates from photosynthesis is converted into electromagnetic pulses. It uses these as a mean of propulsion. Now, when I first saw this Pokemon, I thought it was a horse Pokemon. And it kind of looks like one. These little dots on its legs here, those are actually its eyes. It is a grass electric type. It does have a nuclear form, but we're going to skip that. Its abilities are Chlorophyll and Solar Power. Now, being a grass electric type, it has access to a large amount of moves. But statistically, it ain't bad either. Its attack sucks, but it's got great HP, good defense, amazing special attack, good special defense, and good speed. For an Amoeba Pokemon, it can move pretty fast. Its weaknesses are to Poison, Bug, Fire, and Ice types. So you got quite a list here of things that can hurt you. Move-wise, it gains access to Acupressure and Magnet Rise. You can teach it Growth, Giga Drain, Thunderbolt, Recovery, Acid Armor, even Solar Beam. By breeding it, you can throw Leech Seeds on there. You can give it Seed Bomb. Or sorry, not Seed Bomb. Why would you give it Seed Bomb? Power Gem, Zap Cannon. And by Move Tutor, you can teach it moves like Electro Web and Pain Split and even Size Shock for a surprise that your Poison-type enemies are not expecting. So Nuplin is his original form. And for a while I thought it was two little beady eyes on top of an open mouth with one tooth, but that thing in the middle is actually its mouth. Or actually its eye. There's its shiny and regular form, and now here's what gets cool. The nuclear form, oh, it's just so cool looking. They're both cool looking, I guess. Noop and Gellin were designed by Involuntary Twitch. They are some of Twitch's oldest Fakemon designs. Ooh. In its nuclear form, Gellin and its pre-evolution have the most 4x weaknesses of all Pokemon, with a double weakness to Ice, Flying, Fire, Bug, and Poison types. Ugh. Definitely don't want its nuclear form. Gellin is based off of single-celled organisms, possibly amoeba or bacteria. It may also derive from photoplankton, considering its grass type and photosynthetic abilities. And Gellin possibly comes from flagellin, a type of protein. So, what will you do with this strange-looking horse Pokemon? Well, you turn it into an offensive Juggernaut. That's what you do. I teach it an Energy Ball for its Stab Grass, Charge Beam for not only attack boosting, but also Stab Electric, Power Gem to cover a lot of its weaknesses, Recover to heal it up, and Leftovers to heal it up even further. The thing about him is he's got so many combinations of moves that work well together that you could trade a lot of these out. You could easily trade out Recover for Leech Seed, you could trade out Energy Ball for Solar Power, you could teach it Sunny Day. There's a lot of ways you could do it. And if you teach it Sunny Day, Chlorophyll will double its speed, so I mean that's a good way of looking at it too. But all things must come to an end, so we're going to go to the hottest Pokemon so far. I just have to say two words when it comes to this. Hot peppers. I love hot foods, I love spicy foods, and I love Scovalope. This is Scovalope, the chili rabbit Pokemon. First of all, that sounds delicious. If you haven't had rabbit, it's very tasty. And the thought of adding some chili sauce on it makes it even better. It has its Pokédex entry reads: Scovalope is highly adept at evading detection. The fruits on its horns may fall off and are considered both a lucky charm and a delicacy. So these little spikes on its horns aren't actually spikes; they're actually fruit. He gains access to Chlorophyll and Flame Body, two really cool moves. So as you can see, he's a fire rabbit, or a jackalope, I guess I should say, with pretty good coloring, and it looks like a little fiery tail, so you don't want to pat his tail too much. Statistically, you know, he may not be the best, but he does have a lot of power behind him. Don't worry, folks. We're going to get to how strong this guy can be. He's hot. Aha, I did it again. I better chili off. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm burning myself. Oh, I'm done. HP-wise, he's lacking a little. Defense-wise, he's lacking a little. But he's got good attack. Great attack, great special attack, and even better speed. He can outspeed a lot of Pokemon, and due to his attack and special attack combination, he can be either a special attacking powerhouse or a physical attacking powerhouse. For me, I'm going to use the latter for now. He's weak to flying, poison, and rock types, so you got a bit of an issue there. And because he's evolved via the stone method, yep, the Fire Stone. I was going to say, it's either Leaf Stone or Fire Stone, I'm not 100% sure here. He doesn't gain access to many moves. Of course, he has Heat, Horn Leech, Blaze Kick, Bounce, Inferno, all really powerful moves. Via Move Tutor, he can learn the Mighty Bounce, he can learn Heat Wave, he can learn Seed Bomb, Synthesis, Worry Seed if you want to screw with your opponent. It gets even better. He can learn Aromatherapy, he can learn Flare Blitz, he can learn Ingrain or Leaf Blade, Leech Seed, and Nasty Plot. So finally, he can also learn, I don't know why you'd want to learn Tackle, but he can learn Tackle. You can learn Magic Leaf, Jump, Kick, Flame Burst. His unevolved forms are Pepit, Habanero, and then finally Scovalope. Oh, it's with a Fire or a Leaf Stone. Oh, that's pretty cool. Scovalope is based off a jackalope, a mythical creature that resembles a jackrabbit with antelope horns. It is also based on chili peppers. Scovalope's name is a combination of Scoville, which is the name of the scale that rates how spicy food is, and a jackalope, a mythical North American creature that is a chimera of a jackrabbit and an antelope. Now, that Scoville scale is pretty awesome, but to let you folks know, I basically just eat chili peppers naturally. Actually, right in front of me, right here, if you can hear it, I actually have from Sonoran Spice Company, I have Boot Jaloki, aka Ghost Pepper Flakes. I put these on everything. I put these on my spaghetti. I put these on hot dogs and hamburgers. I like to feel the burn. So I think me and Scovalope would get along real nicely, as long as I didn't try to eat them. I would teach him Flame Body, and then give him access to Horn Leech and Blaze Kick for stab coverage, Dig to protect him, and also to be able to deal damage to those annoying rock and poison types. Yep. I say ground, and I'm like, why would I say ground? Leech Seed for some extra health, especially when digging, and then leftovers on top of that to keep him even more alive. His design is pretty cool. I like the fact that this is a Pokemon that's not a legendary type, but is using a mythological creature. You don't see that a lot when it comes to the Pokemon world. Most mythological Pokemon are legendary or pseudo-legendary Pokemon, and Scovalope isn't. He's just a really awesome Pokemon, and he comes from Pokemon Sage, so if you folks want to try and run with the hot pepper rabbit, go for it. So coming up next, I guess will be ground types. So when we come back next time, folks, I will be bringing up my top 10 ground type Pokemon. Hopefully, I can dig myself out of that grave because it's going to get pretty dirty around here. So until next time, folks, I'm KaijuK, and from the rest of the Modernsters of Gaming. Have yourselves a good one. We'll see you in the future. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye.